Good morning. All right, there we go. You guys are going to need that energy because we are about to go on a very weird ride today. I am a big believer that you should be always trying to empower yourself. The catch is, I don't think that people understand the difference between empowerment and positive thinking. And a lot of times people approach positive thinking as if it were empowerment. So positive thinking is optimizing the way that you think for something that makes you feel expansive. Empowerment is skill acquisition. Once you understand the difference, then you're going to be able to face what we're going to talk about today, which is AI. And backstage, I don't know if you guys have the slides, but if you could put them up, that would be amazing. I'm clicking like a fiend and nothing is happening. Give your boy some slides. There we go. Thank you. All right, so understanding the difference between those is going to be incredibly important. I see people make this mistake in entrepreneurship all the time. They think because they're a good person, they think because they want good things for other people, they think because they think positively that positive things will happen. And the reality is, you guys are about to go through what is going to be a hyper-disruptive change. And if you are stuck thinking that the name of the game is just to think in ways that make you feel expansive, you're going to find yourself in trouble. All right, I recently saw a video called Redneck Harry Potter. If you have not seen this video, you need to watch this video, because this video is a glimpse into the future of the existential dread that every content creator is going to feel over the next couple of years. Humans do not necessarily love change, and the world is going to change very quickly. The great news is that humans, throughout all of history, have always found a way to win. Whether it was a meteorite strike that killed virtually everything else, whether it was us dropping the atomic bomb, we have always found ways to renormalize and keep moving in a progressive pattern. But not everybody crosses that chasm. Now I'm going to play this video, and I want you guys to stare nakedly into the abyss of what is going to happen to content creators. Now why? This goes back to the idea of empowerment. If you understand that empowerment is not magical thinking, not pretending that this stuff isn't going to happen, it is staring nakedly at the truth of what is about to happen to this industry and going, all right, I'm going to acquire some skills, I'm going to get hardcore, I'm going to push through this, and I'm going to figure out how on the other side of this, I'm better. Maybe everybody else is a dinosaur that gets wiped out by the meteorite that is AI, but not me. And that's what this talk is about. But if I cannot get you to actually engage with the world the way that it is, you're going to be in trouble. Now, if any of you have been following me on YouTube, I've been on YouTube now for about 8 years. And in the beginning, all I talked about was mindset. I wanted people to actually understand that if you got your mind in the right place, that you could do anything. But what people started using it for was what I call spiritual entertainment. They would watch my video and they would feel good. They would feel like anything was possible. But then I would step off camera and I'm using those ideas to actually acquire skills and go forward in my life. And I would watch them just watch video after video after video. And so when I started doing now what we call world affairs content, my audience was very confused. And the reason that I did it is because I want to take my mindset and aim it at the biggest problems of our day. Not so I can scare myself, not so I can scare you, but so that you understand how the world actually works. Your brain is a predictive engine. Your brain is a predictive engine. AI is going to break your brain's ability to predict well. So you're going to have to look at the truth of what it is so that you can remap the world and how it's going to work on the other side of this so that you can navigate the world well. Are you guys with me? Do you understand the whole thesis I have? All right, look at it. Understand it. AI is. AI is. You're not going to stuff that genie back in the bottle. The toothpaste is not going back in. And let's look at what that toothpaste looks like. I bring you Redneck Harry Potter. Everything you are seeing here is created with AI. Nothing you see is real. There were no cameras, There were no people, there was no flag, no motorhomes, nothing. This is all AI guessing at what the next frame should be. It will do this in real time. The time that it takes to generate these things is dropping rapidly. Now, you guys live in a world where you stand in front of a camera, you have a persona, you have a relationship with your audience, you have to edit your videos, and all of a sudden, this is already being made right now today. This is the part I want you guys to understand. This is what we can do today. This is the worst that AI is ever going to be. This is terrible AI. This is embarrassing. Who could imagine something so horrible? Because in a year from now, it will be indistinguishable from real life. In 2 years from now, you'll be able to do this anywhere, anytime, anything. And that's why I got the following WhatsApp message. Now, I've blocked his name out, but this is from one of the most important CEOs in the field of AI. Now, anybody paying attention to my channel is going to be able to figure out who this is real fast because the episode's about to come out. But he pinged me, and he said, hey, we should title the podcast episode, You Only Have 2 Years. Who's you? He is quite literally talking to the people in this room. Now, what does he mean, you only have 2 years? The world as you know it, as a content creator, will end in 2 years. Now, the reason it's going to end in 2 years, and unfortunately, it's not like I can tell you, hey, enjoy the next 2 years, save as much money as you can, because it won't be a binary moment. It is some version of different from now until the end of 2 years. But at the end of 2 years, there will be so many tools for content creators that the kind of moats that you guys have created by building your audiences and all of that stuff, it's all going to be disrupted because you will be living in an everywhere, everything, all at once kind of world. Anyone will be able to make anything. It will be photorealistic or look exactly like your favorite cartoon or anime or video game, whatever you want it to look like. It will look exactly like that. And it will be effectively free and effectively instantaneous in the next 2 years. Now, as somebody who's investing millions of my own dollars into building a media company, every day I wake up and I'm like, what am I doing? This isn't going to be here in 2 years. It's going to be something totally different. Is this really something that I want to invest in? Because let's start with one of the things that I spend money on is creating a moat. Now, if you guys don't know what a moat is in business, you hear this talked a lot about as companies get bigger. They want to build a moat. There's a guy named Peter Thiel. He was part of what they call the PayPal Mafia. He was a co-founder of PayPal with Elon Musk. And he said, competition is for losers. You want to go into a zone where you can carve out that space and make it impossible for anybody else to get into that space and compete with you. He's one of the most successful people on planet Earth. Now, all of you guys know this intuitively, that you don't want to be in competition with everybody else. You want to find the thing that only you can do. But right now, your ability to do the content better than somebody else, to create that moat by getting more views, a better community, that goes away. Because the reality is anybody will be able to have an AI that just generates video after video after video, chasing the algorithm to see what works, and people will come and go very quickly. And it won't be about the people with the community anymore. It will be all about the piece of content. The audience will simply want to be entertained. You can see the cutting edge of this with TikTok. TikTok is not about the creator, it's about the piece of content. You guys know that. Okay? That's the very beginning. 2 years from now, when you've got just an absolute avalanche of people making content, it will no longer be that. Understand, this is all going to be happening in real time, what I'm calling a real-time render. So the content is being constructed on the fly by a virtual brain. They are literally structured like virtual brains. And it is essentially dreaming up exactly what this content is going to be. It is going to create a world that is hyper-personalized. Every piece of content, every piece of content that you take in will be made just for you. The AI will understand how you've spent the last 7 days engaging with content. And I'm talking, when do you look to the left? When do you look to the right? How fast did you swipe on something? What faces do you linger on? And it will create content right in front of you, rendering right then, based on your behavior in that moment, to be the piece of content that you are most likely to engage with. That's where we get into algorithm as content. We're going to talk more about that, but you guys are going to have to understand that that's going to become a big part of your job, is for you to customize an algorithm. And you're going to have to deal with a lot of spam content. A lot of spam content. When you're in an everything, everywhere, all at once world, it is just a wall of content. And your job is going to be to leverage your understanding of what AI is, your understanding of personalized algorithms, your understanding of how to do special things with community that we're going to talk about in a minute, in order to create something unique for yourself.
We'll get back to the show in just a second, but first, let's talk about the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make with new business ideas. You've done the research, you've identified a real problem, you've validated that there's demand. Now you're spending months building the perfect solution while your competitors beat you to market. Here's what smart entrepreneurs do. They test their hypothesis with real customers immediately. Shopify gets you from validated hypothesis to live test in hours, not months. Their AI writes your product descriptions and headlines. Hundreds of ready-to-use templates create a professional-looking store for you instantly. Their tools handle payments, inventory, and shipping automatically. This isn't about launching blind. It's about testing your researched idea with real customers before someone else does. Turn your big business idea into a reality with Shopify at your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/impact. Go to shopify.com/impact. And now let's get back to the show.
Now, I'm going to walk you through the valley of death right now, but today's talk is an optimistic talk. And I'm going to get you to the point where, oh my God, I could not be more excited about this. But at no step of the way do I want to fool myself about what this really is. All right, so all the things we just talked about are going to lead to the following. You're going to have hyperfragmentation. So right now, instead of having all these gigantic accounts, you probably will have some big accounts, but ultimately, you're going to have way more small accounts that service people in a really deep, narrow way. You're going to get isolation. You see a lot of pushback right now with parents saying, I don't want my kid to have a cell phone until they're 16. I want my high school to make sure that you can't even bring a phone to school. You're seeing people start to push back against some of the psychological impacts of technology. Technology is amazing. I am wildly techno-optimistic. But we do have to be realistic about some of the problems that it creates. Otherwise, we're going to get blindsided. I think from that isolation, you are going to get social bifurcation. I actually wrote a comic book with the DJ Steve Aoki called Neon Future. And it was us trying to imagine, this is like 5 or 6 years ago, it was us trying to imagine what does the world look like when AI and things like Neuralink come online. And I think the honest answer is that you're going to get a split in society. And you're going to get people that augment themselves, that lean into AI, that do all of that. And then you're going to get like the modern day Amish. The old school Amish already exist, so I don't think this is too crazy. You're going to get the modern day Amish who believe that we should not put technology inside of our body, that we should not let AI be something that takes control, even if it's better for us, right? There's a guy named Brian Johnson who believes that because AI is so close, that all of us alive today, if we take care of our health, we can actually get to the point where we don't die. And that's this whole thing, don't die movement. Now, if he's right, then maybe you do want to give yourself over to the algorithm. Maybe you do just want the algorithm to have your best interests at heart, and it's reading all of your biometric data, and it's making decisions for you. Yay! But I know a lot of us probably think that sounds super dystopian, and we don't want to do that. And that's where that split is going to happen. Now, the bad news is, history shows us when society splits like that, you're going to get violence. Now, hopefully it's just pockets of violence, and it's not crazy, and it's just some protesting. But We'll find out. Time will tell, but I think there will be violence. But here's the good news. These slides are about to change color. We're going to get to the good stuff because we are going to revert to the mean. If you can strike the earth with a comet that creates this idea of a biblical flood across basically every known civilization ever because it essentially killed everybody. If you can live in a world where Genghis Khan killed 10% of the world's population, that is a real stat. You can actually see the drop in methane in ice cores from the time where he was killing people because he's just killing everybody. But 2024 is awesome. Humans revert to the mean. AI is going to be a little scary. We're going to go through moments where people are not excited about that change, but people like you, and I really hope it is you, people that are creative, people that understand how they're trying to help other people, how they're trying to touch lives, that are doing something that they find incredibly exciting, that you guys know it's going to revert to the mean. People are going to find a positive relationship with this, and AI, yes, it is going to change everything, but maybe for the better. So what are the things that we're looking out for that are going to be better? Community co-creation. Imagine a world in which not having a moat means that your community can contribute more meaningfully to what you're building. I think about this a lot. If you've ever watched gaming streamers playing Grand Theft Auto, seeing them role play, having characters online, you begin to realize that what Rockstar actually built is a container. And it's a container for player creativity. And all of you are going to have the opportunity to engage with your most engaging community members that understand the vibe that you're trying to bring to your community and seeing how they can add their own touch to what you're doing. And so now you start to get to take advantage of the everything, everywhere, all at once. Everybody gets an opportunity to be creative. And if you structure your community well enough and people understand, this is what we do, this is the value set of our community, we don't step outside of that, then they can create with reckless abandon and create something that becomes a moat because they will have built something so incredible. If you guys have ever read the book, it's very different than the movie. If you have read the book Ready Player One, you'll understand what I mean. A world created by the community that exists inside of it. A world full of surprises and places to discover. It will be incredibly joyful. And you're going, if you guys, who here, just make some noise. Who here knows what the Fermi paradox is? All right, the rest of you, you're in for a treat. Here it goes. The Fermi paradox goes like this. Hey, we're in this gigantic universe. Even if you just say some tiny slice of the planets are in the Goldilocks zone that could house life, and some tiny fraction of those actually have life, there should still be billions of civilizations out there. So why haven't they come by to see us? Now, if you guys get down with blurry imagery and lights moving in the sky, maybe you think they already have. But I don't think they have. The reason I don't think we've been visited by aliens and the reason the Fermi paradox exists is because I think any sufficiently advanced society will realize that virtual worlds are far more interesting to explore than the actual emptiness of space. The amount of energy it would take, even if this is possible, if it's really possible to bend space-time, the amount of energy that it would take to do that is insane. You are far more likely to realize with AI in this everything, everywhere, all at once world that you can create virtual worlds that are being co-created with your community that give you insane amounts of places to explore. Already right now today, Minecraft allows you to explore something that is 8 times the size of planet Earth. Now, imagine as we get out of the overly simplistic stylings and we get into something that's truly robust, truly engaging. I think it will be incredible. AI is also going to allow for you at scale. All right, this one freaks some people out and it gets other people excited. What I'm about to say is guaranteed to be true. Buckle up. Think about the size of your community, whether it is 10,000 or it's 10 million. Even at 10,000, you are not going to know all of the people in that community. Now, in an AI-drenched world, you're going to create a U-bot. And there is going to be a character in your community that is trained on your personality, everything you've ever said. And I know you guys, you probably have thousands of hours of footage of yourself talking and answering questions and engaging with the community. And the U-bot is going to be real convincing. Now, U-bots already exist. There's a U-bot of me. Call him the Tom bot. There's a U-bot of Tony Robbins. There are all kinds of U-bots. Some of you may already have them. Now, imagine when, and again, you're maybe 2 years out from this, where people cannot tell if they're speaking to you or the U-bot. Now people in your community are going to have an individual, ongoing relationship with memory, shared experiences, things that they've said to you that they've never told anybody else. They're going to have a deep connection to you in the way you always wanted when you started this. But you're not going to be a part of it. Your AI is. Now, is that terrifying? Is that exciting? But if you have millions of people in your audience and the AI can have long conversations. Have you guys seen that Friend? The ad for that device, Friend. You wear it around your neck. It's an AI. It's always with you. It remembers everything you did. It knows your calendar. It knows your biometric data. All kinds of, this exists today. Now imagine that that's you. And people have these long-term relationships with you, but you've never met them. I'll leave you guys to decide whether that's good or bad, but that is going to happen. And what you guys want to be thinking about as you listen to this talk and you wake up tomorrow staring into the void, wondering, oh God, what have I gotten myself into? Is to think, how do I use this well? And I will offer you up the idea of imagination as the sole limit. Imagine living in a world that is only limited by your imagination. You no longer have to spend 8 hours filming something and 50 hours editing it, putting it out, only for it to get 4 views. You come up with the idea, you prompt, you create it, you see how people interact with it. It will be a much faster iteration cycle where you now will be truly untethered. Now that to me is exciting, and we're going to get to how this plays out in my own life in a minute. 1,000 True Fans. If you guys don't know Kevin Kelly and the idea of 1,000 True Fans, go check it out. It is the very thing that sent me on the trajectory that led me to be very successful. I heard that idea that you only need 1,000 true fans who are really impacted by what you do. They believe in you. You've added value to their lives. They will rock with you no matter what. And you only need 1,000 of them to live a good life. You might not get rich, but you're going to be able to have a meaningful life where you're interacting with people that care about whatever it is that you're creating. And at the end of the day, guys, that is almost certainly what awaits us on the other side of AI. I think AI wildly diffuses capital. Probably not going to spend a lot of time on that, though I am going to open up for questions. But if you understand that you're going to be able to have these incredible relationships with people, it may shrink the size of the audience, but it is going to massively increase the depth. All right, if you are a part of Generation AI, the people that are going to be successful, the people that survived the meteorite strike, here are the things that they are going to do. They are going to look at IP, intellectual property, as a container, okay? I'm creating something called Project Kaizen. Again, I'll talk more about this at the end, but we think of it as a container for the player's creativity. You want to create this, it's almost like a family, right? The cool thing about a family is that you, as the parent, get to set the rules of that house. And then we get to see, what does it look like to grow up in this house? And some houses for sure are better than others. All right, community as content creators. We talked about that. That's going to be huge. Algorithm as content. Here's where you guys are going to have to embrace that a big part of your role is going to be understanding, oh, I'm not just going to let the TikTok algorithm decide what works and what doesn't work. I'm going to build effectively an IP container for my audience, and because I know this is an everything, everywhere, all at once world, I'm going to tweak an algorithm to ensure the content being created inside my own ecosystem is the kind of content that we want, that's delivering the outcomes that we want. So one of the things I talk about with the game that I'm building, Project Kaizen, is if you're winning in Project Kaizen, you should be winning in real life. So pulling in biometric data, seeing how you're sleeping, optimizing for things that matter in the real world. These are things that you're going to be able to do with AI. Community as ecosystem. Understanding that this is going to be a living, breathing thing. It is not a thing that you're going to want to impose top-down control. I think people that try to impose top-down control on their communities will lose it. If you understand that you want people creating, you want things changing, you want all of this to become a place that people want to spend their time. And again, what way are you trying to contribute? And by the way, if you've never heard me speak before, understand everything I think about in my life can be summed up in one way. I work really hard to gain a set of skills that matter to me so that I can serve not only myself, but others in the pursuit of an honorable goal. If you are doing that, then surely you want a positive outcome for people. So understanding, what are we doing inside of our community? What are all the ways in which we can have touch points so that there is this incredible depth to the experience? All right, I don't want you guys thinking about this as something way off in the future. I want you to think about this as something that you need to be ready for today. Treat AI as a tool. This is going to be where people panic. But if you understand, you're not going to be beat by AI. You're going to be beat by a person who uses AI. So right now, AI by itself is not going to be able to get you where you want to go. But if you treat AI as a tool that you're going to leverage, now you can do something. Build a U-bot. Learn the technology. See what that feels like. It will also help you understand where the state of the art is today. All right, you're going to be able to achieve scale. This is very important. AI lets you do a lot of things from translations and transcripts to clips and copywriting. AI is going to help you do more with less, which as content creators, we all know that's important. You also need to worry less and act more. Now, if you're paying attention, you should have some existential dread. When you cannot look 3 to 5 years forward in your business and understand what you need to be doing, that is very scary. They say, skate to where the puck is going to be, not where the puck is. And I tell people in the age of AI, that's hard because the puck is teleporting. So you've got to be very careful, but you don't want to spend all your time worrying. You want to be taking action, seeing what the state of the tools are, how can you use it, how do you enrich the lives of those in your community? And focus relentlessly on the positive. All of the negative stuff is going to present itself to you. It will make itself known. It does not matter what you look at, it matters what you see. I could do a whole talk just on that sentence. It does not matter what you look at, it matters what you see. If you guys look at AI and you see terror and you see all the things that are going to change and that makes you sad, then you're not going to take action. If, on the other hand, like me, you look at this and go, cool, I need to know what is real. I need to know what is actually happening because I am going to master these tools. I am going to be at the top of the mountain at the end of this. I will not only survive the change in all of this as a creator, I'm going to thrive. 2.5 years ago, I could see where this was going. So 2.5 years ago, I started building a video game called Project Kaizen. Project Kaizen is my answer to all the things that you just saw me talk about. Now, you guys have a choice. You can either embrace, and I mean this very sincerely, you can either embrace AI or you can detach. Remember I said in the beginning there's going to be a split in society? This is that split. Monks realize, rightly, that all human suffering is born of desire. And so if you want to opt out of suffering, you need only detach. Now I always tell people, in my back pocket, I keep monk-like detachment. And at any time, if my life is not joyful in the absolute manic pursuit of greatness, then I will detach. And you will have that opportunity. There's nothing wrong with that opportunity. If that feels right, amazing. I know people are now starting to sell their brands. Some people want to detach. Very fair. But if you want to go all in, you have an absolutely incredible opportunity before you to build a virtual world, however that looks for you. It doesn't have to be a video game, but I'm going to use that example because I've spent so much time thinking about it. You get to literally define the physics of a world. You get to invite your community to come and exist, to actually exist inside of that world, to have relationships with other real people, to have relationships with a U-bot, to have relationships with other AI, to either deepen the play of a world that they clearly understand. I'm just popping in like I would pop in to play a video game. It's just much deeper, much richer. The content is far more emotive, far more enjoyable, but I dip in and I dip out. Or, and this is what I think will happen on a long enough timeline, that people will spend a very substantive portion of their life inside of virtual worlds where, going back to Ready Player One, the book, where each of you will pick a community of somebody who's chosen to build their virtual world. You like the rules of the community, you like the vibes, you like the way that it feels, so you decide, I'm going to go in there. But they're busting their butts to give you guys tools that allow you to create. So even though Project Kaizen is very early, and it's going to take us years and years and years to develop the full vision for the game, right now today you can go in and you can create your own maps that your friends can come and play, because we understand that this is an opportunity for us. If we can get our ego out of the way and not make it about us, but instead make it about our honorable goal. I want to bring empowerment to people through entertainment. Okay? That's my mission in life. I want to bring empowerment to people at scale through entertainment. And so by creating this container and allowing people to come in and create, we'll now have thousands, tens of thousands, perhaps millions of people coming in, playing the game, and creating not only the big, bombastic experiences that, of course, you're going to see, like you would see in a Fortnite or a Roblox, but you're also going to get these incredibly intimate experiences. And that was one of the things I loved about that book, Ready Player One. It was these intimate experiences that somebody created for you to simply discover. And so now, you guys get to lead people into that. You get to set the rules. You get to tweak the algorithm so that by engaging with your world, people have a more joyful life. People are more connected. They're overcoming some of the inherent temptations of AI. And if you can do that, as a creator, you are living in the greatest time in human history. I wouldn't trade this moment for anything in the world. I'm willing to look at the hard and the scary things so that I understand how to do this well. If you guys understand how to do this well, you will be able to touch more lives than you have ever touched ever, because we all know nobody learns by sitting back and just absorbing your content. You want them to take action. You want them to do something. And AI is that invitation. AI is the invitation to say, come in and help me build this world. Come in and help me make a community that interacts with people in the deepest way possible, that goes way beyond a TikTok or a YouTube. This is literally a universe full of exploration, full of your creativity. That's what AI brings. And as long as you can mentally handle that challenge, that it is going to be different, it's going to be scary, but of course we're going to revert to the mean. We always do, and in that new world is an opportunity for creation unlike anything you have ever seen, and I invite each and every one of you to be a part of that. Thank you for your time. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I give my time. I have very little time, but if you have a question, ask now. Anybody that thinks anything BS, you're the one I want to hear from. It's always chat. Okay, why would people in a world where everything, everywhere, all at once, why would people choose U-bot over their own bot? The reality is that the thing that humans want to do is they want to be a part of something. We are a social animal. And so there are going to be some people that they don't want to think about building this and tweaking the algorithm and worried about what's the fire in the community right now. That's going to be for you guys. Content creators already used to communities. You want to build an incredible experience that people can come into. A lot of people are going to pick 3, 4, 5 communities, and they sort of dip in and dip out. And so what you want to do is create a flavor that they can't get anywhere else. It's the same thing that makes your video stand out. You did something unique. If you do something unique, you will attract special people.
Okay, so for 10 years I've been creating on YouTube. With this revolution, do platforms get democratized, do you think, or do you think YouTube survives? You talk about creating your own world. As I go into AI, it's like I'm jumping from business to business to business of who's winning at the time. What do you think happens with platforms with this revolution?
Yeah, platforms are always going to be the one place you can sort of aggregate capital. So I don't see a world in which platforms go away, but I do see a world in which platforms become far more detached because they know that they won't have the level of control that they do currently. So platforms like Unreal Engine, that I have a lot of faith that that's going to be a huge platform. But their algorithm will be a lot less meaningful than your own.
Wow, that was an awesome talk.
Thank you.
Very exciting, but also like, holy crap. So I assume it would be a question some of us have is we're here to learn how to create content, build the channel, all the ideas that we have, but what you've just presented is like, how am I going to apply all of that and not waste time? What do you recommend going into this conference? How do we apply that?
Okay, so how do you do something and not waste time? Guys, there's something I call the physics of progress. Oh God, your entire life, everything gets better. Run the physics of progress. It is 6 steps. If somebody's recording this, I'm going to do it real fast. It's KYGICE. Know your goal, impact, confidence, ease. You're going to exist in a loop. The loop is, I know my goal. I know where I'm trying to get to. Then I'm going to come up with a hypothesis on how I'm going to get there. Then I'm going to turn that hypothesis into a thing I do that has a known piece of data. So I'm going to launch this video with this new headline format, and I expect it to do 10 times better than what it was doing before. Run the experiment. Did you get the data that you were expecting or not? If yes or no, learn from that, and then you start again. If you live in that, I call it the physics of progress. There's nothing below it. There is no other way to make progress. Now, if you don't know me, I've built 3 wildly successful companies in 3 wildly divergent areas. I built a security software company, multi-million-dollar company. I built a nutrition and manufacturing company, sold it for $1 billion. I've now built a media company, again, another multi-million-dollar company. So 3 wildly different because I'm running the physics of progress. That's it. So you're going to exist in that loop. A lot of things won't work. Some will. If you stick with the things that will, as long as you know where you're trying to go, you're going to get there. All right, I have a feeling they will stab me in the face if I take any more. You guys have been awesome. This is a brilliant time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Bilyeu!
If you're an aspiring entrepreneur with a dozen business ideas, but you're paralyzed because you don't know which one will actually make money, I can help you solve this problem in 30 minutes. The problem isn't that you don't have good ideas. I bet you have too many good ideas, and that's the problem. You can't make a decision. If you haven't tried my free Zero to Launch GPT yet, you are missing out. We've gotten incredible feedback from people who are finally launching their businesses using this tool. Kyle B, for instance, said it best when he said, "This custom GPT is lighting a fire in me." He went from not knowing how to maintain momentum to implementing a 10-week action plan that was so effective, he was having a hard time convincing himself to leave his workspace at the end of the day because he was getting so much done. This free custom GPT is personally trained on my proven framework. It will help you analyze the market and create an exact action plan to launch in just 30 minutes. Stop overthinking and start taking the steps to launch right now today. Click the link in the show notes to access the free Zero to Founder Launch GPT right now. If you like this conversation, check out this episode to learn more. It took electricity 46 years to reach 1/4 of American homes. The internet, 7 years. ChatGPT did it in just 5 days. In 2023, more people talk to an AI than there